1 2 1 2 1 2. What's up, my boyka? Rahubat. Bienvenido and welcome. Well, I'm back. Starting to do something here. What I am doing is it's an overlay on here. Where energy goes, energy flows, my people. That's what we're doing. Okay. And what's up? I like to bring up something here. Let me play you this. It's a little track I've been working on. Just testing to see, make sure you can hear this. Yeah. I don't know. It's coming from. Oh, my bad, folks. My bad. You're not hearing me. Okay. Can you hear me now? All right. I don't know what went on here, but this whole day, it's been kind of crazy. Trust me, this whole day has been kind of crazy. Let's try playing this again. Okay? Let's see. It's not playing. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, yo. Anyway, you know what? Forget about it. I guess it's not meant for me to play this. Anyway, what I wanted to do is bring up, again, we was talking about the compositions in our body, the star stuff that we made out of, and the chemistry, the compound, the chemistry. And what kind of foods can we eat to amplify that at the same time to work with that? You know what I'm saying? We have it already in us, but we need to rejuvenate it, right? We need to constantly keep that up. So let me bring you something here. Hold on one second. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Let's read up on the star. Just give me 1 second here. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Share this. My bad. Chrome. And share this, right? You should be seeing that now, right? Okay. And so this is a National Geographic. This is the what they call the neutron star, located light years from Earth, 50,000 years from Earth, that flares up so brightly in December 2004, that has temporarily blinded all the X-ray satellites in space, lit up the Earth upper atmosphere. And this happened in 2004. So everything you wanted to know about stars, these luminous ball of gas help ancient explorers navigate the seas, and now help modern day scientists navigate the universe, right? Stars are huge celestial bodies made mostly of hydrogen and helium that produce light and heat from the churning nuclear forges inside their core. Now, outside from our sun, the dots of light we see in the skies are all light years away from the Earth. They are the building blocks of galaxy, which are the billions of the billions, which are in the billions in the universe. It's impossible to know how many stars exist. But astronomers, they estimate that in our Milky Way galaxy alone, there are about 300 billion, right? That tells you how stars are born. The life cycle of a star spans billions of years. As a general rule, the more massive stars, the shorter the lifespan. Now, birth takes place inside hydrogen-based dust clouds called nebulae. Over the course of thousands of years, gravity causes pockets of dense matter inside the nebula to collapse under its own weight. One of these contrasting masses of gas, known as a protostar, resembles a star's nascent phase. Because of the dust in the nebulae obscures them, protostars can be difficult for astronomers to detect. Okay, you can read on. This is a National Geographic. This is just giving you a general idea about stars. Some stars. The Big Bang, massive star issue is evolutionary path, and instead of go out with a bang, detonating as supernovae, or novae. While they may appear to be swelling red giants on the outside, their cores are actually contracting. So, it also has polarities. It has the gravitational pull, and there's a anti-gravitational pull, which is levitational, which create a magnetic force within it, So, and you can read on and on and on and on. I wanted to bring you up something here. So those are stars. Remember, the sun is a star and stars are suns. So this is the nebulae. Look at it. It looks like an eye, right? It's interesting. Like an eye. This is more. Okay, so that's just one read. Okay, so so the idea of a star. So we know what stars are, right? I want to bring something up to you. Let's see. Share my screen again. Screen share. And this time I'm going to share this here because I want to bring something up over here. I'll bring this up here. And I want to bring this up here so you can see this. You should be seeing this, right? Yep, you should be seeing that. Now, this is the elements of life: hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, and phosphorus. And to tell you, this is what stars are also made of. I'll bring it up. Just give me 1 second. Let me stop sharing that for a minute. I have to bring this up. So just bear with me because I'm going to bring out certain information here. So what are the chemical composition of stars and the universe? Okay. So here, see, where would I find that at? The chemical composition of the stars. Here you go. Okay, you should be seeing that, right? So these are the chemical composition of stars and the universe, and of what is the universe made of, and its ingredients in what is what they call cosmic recipe. If we can answer this question, we may gain some clue to the history of our universe. Okay, so as you go on and on and on, what about the Earth? So the Earth, the atmosphere, 98% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, 1% of other stuff like carbon dioxide, water, and vapor, and stuff like that. The chemical composition of stars, here it is. Okay. The star is almost entirely hydrogen in almost all the stars. Like the sun, the hydrogen, and as it converts that into helium, you got to understand how the periodic table works and how the electron works and how they multiply. So this process of hydrogen multiplying into helium is a process. Most of the stars are of hydrogen. Helium 10% helium, tiny traces of heavy elements, right? These are stars, nebulae, and here it goes. Pure hydrogen, helium. All of this you can read up. This, I get it from the, I don't know it. You just have to Google this. I have it here somewhere, but you have to just Google that. Let's get out of here for a minute. Okay? Bear with me. We're getting there. Just bear with me. So, we know that stars are made of stuff, mostly of hydrogen, right? What do we know that we have hydrogen on this earth? Many things have hydrogen, even foods, and I'm going to bring that up. Water, H2O, hydrogen, 2 atoms of hydrogen, 1 of oxygen, H2O, water. That's why water is so important to our very survival. And let's keep going. Let's keep going. Just going up the line. So, what are the sources of hydrogen? Being that we know that the majority of the stars are made up of hydrogen, we're going to want to take in hydrogen, right? Water is one, right? And so here we are. What foods are sources of hydrogen, right? So hydrogen is vital for all life. The third and most common element in the human body and all the component of water and DNA and most other organic molecules. Macronutrients such as carbon or carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, contain hydrogen as part of their chemical structure. And water contains hydrogen as well. This means that every food contains some sort of hydrogen. Foods we take in, right? So here we have water. Drinking water throughout the day will keep you hydrated. Now look at the word hydrogen, hydrated. Water is an essential nutrient that is ubiquitous throughout your body. Each molecule of water is made up of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. Water dissolves many substances in your body, such as vitamin C and the B vitamins, and plays an integral role in cellular structure and chemical reactions. Hydrolysis is a chemical reaction in which certain chemicals are broken down by the addition of water. Hydrolysis is part of the chemical process that break down carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and produce adenosine triphosphate, also called ATP, a molecule that stores energy. When we're reading this, I want you to keep in mind how we're star stuff. So we know that stars contain hydrogen. Our body and the necessity for us to survive, because we are star people, we have the substance in us, and we need to amplify that, and we need to sustain ourselves. We can't sustain ourselves without water. Water's in everything. And carbohydrates, fruits and whole grains are a healthy source of carbohydrates, right? Which in turn are sources of hydrogen. So when you're eating some fruits and some whole grains, you're taking in hydrogen. Carbohydrate, also called sugars, are molecules that contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. The chemical structure of glucose, the simple structure your cell uses to metabolize energy, has 6 atoms of carbon, 12 atoms of hydrogen, and 6 atoms of oxygen. These types of sugar in foods include fructose, also called fruit sugar, lactose, and also called milk sugar, and sucrose, a disaccharide polysaccharide that contains glucose and fructose. Now, glucogen is a large compound made up of numerous glucose molecules that store up sugar in your liver and muscle. But what type of sugar? You know what I'm saying? We have to look at the carbohydrates. You got to read the ingredients. You got to see what it is. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Proteins. Meat, poultry, fish, dairy, and ligament are proteins made up of the amino acids that are sources of hydrogen. So you can get hydrogen sources from poultry and meat and fish and stuff like that, and dairy. But again, we got to be careful, okay? Because the sensitivity, food sensitivity, we have to be aware of that. I mean, I have a dietitian, and we're going to do a test on my body for my food sensitivity. But if you can't get it from one source, let's say you don't eat meat, you can get it from another source. Just as long as you understand that I got to get my hydrogen in, I got to drink my water, I gotta eat the right type of food, fruits. There's some fruits that got too much sugar in it. Again, glucose, sucrose, got too much sugar. You want to limit that amount of sugar, especially if you suffer from like diabetes and stuff like that. Diabetes type 2. You want to be careful. You're borderline diabetic. You want to be careful of the sugar that you want to take in. So chemical structure of amino acids may differ, but all amino acids contain carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. Again, remember, I should have, you know what? I can't do that now. Let me see what I can do here. Hold on, give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second here. Let me see something here. I don't see it here. Maybe if I put this in the photo folder, I might be able to grab it. Okay, let's see. Photo folder. I can't grab it. I'm sorry. I'll try to grab this over here, but I can't do it. All right, no problem at all. So, where were I? We're in the discussion now of hydrogen, because that is one of the chemicals that from the stars we have. So we're primordial beings, star beings, and this is what we have. So these are ways to really get into the hydrogen. Your body digests protein by breaking down into amino acids, which your liver may further break down and convert into other amino acids, proteins, and other substances, okay? Fats, also called lipids, are the type of micronutrient made of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Healthy fats, such as monounsaturated fatty fats and polyunsaturated fatty acids, are found in nuts, seeds, vegetable oils, avocados, and olives. I love olives. I love avocados. I don't do vegetable oil. Right? I do olive oil. That's one. Or I use plant-based butter for my oils. Right? Seeds, definitely. Sesame seeds and nuts. As you're going to see later on, how Brazilian nuts are very, very good. Omega-3 fatty acids are a type of polyunsaturated fat found in fish, walnuts, and flax seeds. But again, you have to be careful. You can't overdo things, because a lot of flax seeds, you got to watch. Don't overdo anything. So you can get a lot of these nutrients from the foods you eat, right? And you have to be, looking for my phone, I'm sorry. You have to be, again, you have to use your sense of, don't overdo things. You know what I'm saying? Modesty, your sense of modesty, you know what I'm saying? So the fat in our body, omega-3, very important. Unhealthy fats include saturated fats found in meat, dairy, and trans fats, like in processed food. Stay away from that processed food. Try your do your hardest, diligent hardest to find foods that don't have this type of unhealthy fats. Okay? Trans fats, like found in a lot of meats. Just be very careful. Limit the amount. You don't have to just stop eating meat. Try to buy organic meat and limit the amount of meat intake. Because the more you follow this mindset, this diet of you using your balancement, and learning that, for one, is eating for your etheric self, which is your star substance. It's your etheric self. And you see, when you do that, then you're able to, control your weight, is one. Your mind is clearer. You're able to use these energy centers, these natural centers that we all born with, right? We all inherited from the sun, the electromagnetic forces, and we're able to use that for our benefit, heal ourselves. These frequencies, extract the positive frequencies, that together with your intention. Your intent is to create an environment in your body, the inner, so that it affects your outer body. Everything around you. Morbius strip. Remember, the inner becomes the outer becomes the inner. So you want a healthy, balanced life. You want a healthy, balanced existence and subsistence. The submerged existence, that mental, that ideas, right? Let's go on. So that's fats. So fat is solvent for vitamins A, D, E, and K, and helps these nutrients get absorbed from the foods into your body. Fat is part of cell membrane and sustained in your brain, called phospholipids. Man, a lot of these words, I look them up in the dictionary and try to go deep into that. And I suggest you do the same. Interesting. What else you got? So, what are the best 12 foods here? Let me see what we have here. Oh, man. Let me bring this up. I hope you can see that. For oxygen. Now we're going to look at the foods to enrich, that are oxygen-rich foods. So we got the hydrogen, right? And we see how important that is. Now let's look at the oxygen, because we did earlier. Let me see. Let me see. I don't know if you can see this. I doubt if you can see that. No, I stopped sharing. Okay, let me bring this up. Oh, I gotta share my screen. Again, I just want to show you real quickly that this right here. See, you should be seeing that right there. Okay. You should be seeing that right there. Oh, you can't see that. Ah, I lost it. It's fine. It's in here somewhere. There it goes, right there. Let me click on that. So look again. Hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, and phosphorus. So right now, we're dealing with hydrogen. And now we didn't get to the carbon yet and the nitrogen, but we're going to get to the oxygen and sulfur and stuff, right? In 1 second. Stop sharing the screen. Okay, stop sharing. So let's bring this back up. Let me see. You should be seeing this. Okay. Okay. So we went over the sources for hydrogen, the oxygen. Let's read this up a little bit here. You should be able to see that right there. No, you're not. Got to share it. Okay. Okay. So much navigation I got to do here. I'm learning. I should have had, you know what I'm going to do soon is do what they call point. What they call that? Excuse me. Yeah, you know, actual points on presentation. So humans really are made of stardust, and this is a study that proves it. Okay, for decades, science popularizers have said that humans are made of stardust, and now a new surveys of 150,000 stars shows just how true the old cliche is. Humans in their galaxy have about 97% of the same kind of atoms and elements of life appears to be more prevalent towards the galaxy center and that the research I found. The crucial element of life on Earth, often called the building blocks of life, can be abbreviated as CHNOPS. Here it goes. Carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and phosphorus and sulfur. For the first time, astrologers has cataloged the abundance of these elements in a huge sample of stars. Now, the astronomers evaluate each element's abundance through a method called spectroscopy. Spectroscopy. Each element emits distinct wavelengths. There you go, wavelength again, frequency of light from within a star. And they measure the depth of the dark and the bright patches in each star's like spectrum to determine what is it made of. This you can find in the Milky Way, the Traveler's Guide. Now, the researchers use stellar measurements from the Sloan Digital Sky Surveys, the SDSS, Apache Point Observatory Galactic Evolution Experiment, the Apogee. Apache Point Observatory Galactic Evolution Experiment. Now, the spectrograph of New Mexico, Apogee, can peer through the dust in the Milky Way because it uses an infrared wavelength that passes through dust. This instrument collects light in the near infrared part of the electromagnetic spectrum and disperse it. So they're using the spectrum, the infrared spectrum, right? And they're using that to go within the stars and to view the stars. Like a prism, it reveals signature of different elements in the atmosphere of the stars. And if you go on, and here, again, hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, and phosphorus, okay? Proportion of each element of life differ depending on the region of the galaxy in which it was found. For example, the sun resides in the outskirts of one of the Milky Way spiral arms. Stars on the outskirts of the galaxy have fewer heavy elements required for life building blocks, such as oxygen, than those of most central regions of the galaxy. You can go on and on and on and on. It's a great human interest story that we now are able to map the abundance of all the major elements found in the human body across hundreds of thousands of stars in the Milky Way. Jennifer Johnson, the science team chair of the SDSS-3 Apogee Survey, a professor at the Ohio State University, said in a statement, "This allowed us to place constraints on when and where our galaxy life had the required elements to evolve, a sort of temporal galactic habitable zone." Okay, so here we go. I should have read that first, okay, but I didn't. So we already looked at the hydrogen and how we can extract the hydrogen, very important, and the oxygen, the foods that are oxidated, right? Let's look at sulfur. I didn't find nitrogen, right? What foods are high in sulfur? Sulfur is the third most abundant minerals in your body. It is present in methionine and cysteine, which are two of the amino acids you use to make proteins. Both of these amino acids are present in your skin, hair, and nails, where they help to make these tissues strong and flexible. You obtain the sulfur your body needs from animal and plant-based proteins, as well as other types of compounds such as sulfonates, allicins, and sulfides. Sulfur is also present in thiamine, which is vitamin B1, and biotin, vitamin H. Vitamin B1. Why you need sulfur? Your body needs sulfur to build and fix your DNA and protect your cells from damage that can lead to serious disease such as cancers. Sulfur also assists your body to metabolize food and contributes to the health of your skin, tendons, and ligaments. Okay? I remember that they used to put a little bit of sulfur in the molasses and give that. You know, back in the old days, they used to do that. You know, that was one of the remedies that grandma used to use, great grandma. The two amino acids that include sulfur are methionine and cysteine. Methionine is an essential amino acid that cannot be synthesized by your body and must be consumed from protein-based sources. Now, cysteine, on the other hand, is a non-essential amino acid and is synthesized by your body. You don't need to consume it directly, but you do need to consume sulfur in form that can be used to produce this compound. Sulfur also found in glucosamine sulfate, chondroitin sulfate, and methylsulfonylmethane. MSM. Oh, what's going on here? Okay, these three supplements are frequently used to relieve joint pain and inflammation. Some of the natural health practitioners believe that may also improve the quality of your skin, your fingernail, and other tissues. Okay. Giovanni gave me a list of stuff that he takes, and doctors telling him, and I think he mentioned one of these. These therapeutic benefits are not completely proven or understood. However, it has been proposed that this may be due in part of the presence of serum sulfates in them. No recommended daily amounts have been proposed for sulfur intake. However, it's been proposed that in some cases, too much sulfur in the diet can lead to intestinal problems, includes diarrhea, inflammation of bowel disease, and ulcerative colitis. Now let's look at the foods with sulfur. Dietary sulfur comes in many forms. It was once thought that animal-based protein were the primary source of sulfur. But we now know that it's also found in a variety of plant-based food and non-protein foods. The recommended daily allowance for methionine has been set at 14 milligrams per kilogram of body weight and approximately 1,000 milligrams per day. No RDA, which is the recommended daily allowance, has been set for other forms of sulfur. Now, the sulfur-containing food below have been shown to provide health benefits. However, some consumers have reported experiencing gastrointestinal discomfort and cases resulting in ulcerative colitis from sulfates found in drinking water and some allium and cruciferous vegetables. So you have to be careful, all right? Again, don't eat too much of it, all right? Now, turkey, beef, eggs, fish, and chicken are animal-based sources of methionine, the essential amino acids that must be consumed through your diet since it cannot be synthesized by your body. Turkey, beef, eggs, fish, and chicken. But again, there's people that got diets that are not, they don't have this. They don't need it. So you also have nuts, seeds, grains, and legumes. It's also possible to obtain methionine from vegetarian diet. The nuts, the seeds, the grain, you know what I'm saying? Chickpeas, I love chickpea, cashews, eggs, lentils. Lentils are great form of extracting sulfur. Oats, I like steel cut oats. And again, turkey again and water. So I do turkey strips sometimes, it's good. Allium vegetables, other than proteins, allium vegetables are one of those main sources of dietary sulfur. The group of vegetables enriched in various forms of sulfur includes sulfides, stereosulfides, sulfoside. Well, you can see these vegetables include garlic, leeks, onions, scallions, shallots, and are associated with benefit in cardiovascular health, bone health, blood sugar control, and detoxification. Garlic, leeks, onions, scallion, and shallots. But then again, you know, you got people that teach it differently, because remember, when you look at the diet, Dr. Sebi diet, it doesn't believe in garlic. And I think it just changed. But there's leeks, red onions. So you have to do a little more research. But understand that a lot of this is so important. This is how we eat. This is the customs, the nature of how we eat. We're starved people. And this is how we gain our nutrients and amplify those substances in us, right? I love it that this, you know, blood sugar control and detoxification, you know, garlic. I make my, what they call sofrito. Sofrito, I make that, and I make that out of, excuse me 1 second, I'm looking for my phone. I make that out of, I use cilantro, bell peppers, green bell peppers, garlic, a lot of garlic in it, red onions, and you blend it up and you make this concoction. It's called sofrito. It's a Spanish thing, yo. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. So there are, 1 second here. They are, so, by these lists and by being conscious of this, right? You put your energy, your energy is going to flow because you're going to put your attention to your food intake. And it's so important when you understand how we eat. No Popeyes, no McDonald's. That stuff is not beneficial. I mean, I don't, I don't judge anybody for eating certain things, but it's so important when you deal with the fact that we're, again, star people. We need to understand of how we eat. Simple as that. And come up with a list of diets. Say, well, listen, according to my dietitian, my doctor, according to here, 1 second here. According to my dietitian, my doctor, understand of how we eat. Simple as that. And come up with a list of diets. So that's important. You know what I'm saying? You come up with a list of things. You know, you look at you say, okay, I'm a star person, right? I got this star substance in me, right? I want to eat things that are going to enrich my ability, my star abilities. So you look at the star substance, hydrogen, the nitrogen, the sulfur, the phosphorus, and that, and then you make a list of foods that are more aligned with your eating habit. You know, let's say you're a person who don't like to eat meat. I mean, right? So there's other sources that you can get. As long as you know you're getting these particular substances into your body, you know, that's what it's all about. You know, that's what I'm learning. What's going on here? Okay, so let's go on further. Let me see. Let's look at foods that are high in phosphorus. Should be. Let me share this. Phosphorus. Let's look at those foods. And here it goes. The top 12 foods that are high in phosphorus. Now you can do your own research and find out more. And so phosphorus is an essential mineral that your body uses to build healthy bones and create energy and make new cells. Remember, we're constant, our cells are growing. It's much more to that. When you deal with cells, you got to understand about the mucus in the cells and stuff like that, how to detox that. But a lot of this, you know, works for that, you know. So the recommended daily intake for adults is 700 milligrams. But growing teens and pregnant women need more phosphorus. So the daily value was estimated to be 1,000 milligrams, but was recently updated to 1,250 milligrams to cover the needs of these groups. Again, you know, for the different, you got to eat for your blood type. Also, you got to look into a lot of things into consideration, right? And at the same time, you have to be modesty, you know what I'm saying? In anything, don't overdo anything. So you got phosphorus deficiency is rare in developed countries. And most adults eat more than the recommended amount every day. Okay, now while phosphorus is beneficial for most people, it can be harmful when consumed in excess. So don't be too excess. People with kidney disease can have trouble removing it from their blood, you know, and may need to limit their phosphorus intake. If you have kidney disease, if it runs in your family, you know, certain diets you got to watch. Phosphorus is found in most food, but some foods are especially good sources. These articles list only 12 foods that are particularly high in phosphorus. Again, chicken and turkey. 1 cup or gram of roasted chicken or turkey contains about 300 milligrams of phosphorus, which is more than 40% of the recommended daily intake. It's also rich in protein, B vitamins, and selenium. Light poultry meat contains slightly more phosphorus than dark meat, but both are good sources. Cooking method can also affect the phosphorus content of the meat. Roasting preserve the most phosphorus when you roast your food, while boiling reduces the level for about 25%. Okay. I don't eat much meat. I cut down even on chicken, but I boil my chicken on the stove. I make it into stew. Okay, and lower the amount of phosphorus, but you can gain phosphorus from other foods, as you can see. I don't do pork, but here it is for those who take pork. But again, not too much excess. Don't be accessible when it comes to pork. I don't do pork because of my particular spiritual thing, that I kind of like adopted, Pork has a lot of spiritual debris in it, so I don't do it. So, but if you do eat pork, 3-ounce portion of cooked pork it tells you it contains phosphorus, depending on the cut. Pork chops contain the least amount of phosphorus, while pork tenderloins contain the most. Even bacon is a good source, containing, about 6%. Like with poultry, cooking method can also affect the phosphorus contained in the pork. Dry heat cooking preserves 90% of the phosphorus. Those what they call them, air fry. While boiling can reduce the phosphorus level of roughly about 25%. So pork is a good source of phosphorus, containing about 200 milligrams per 3 ounces, which is 85 grams. Dry heat cooking is the best way to preserve the phosphorus content. Okay, dry heat. Organ meat, such as brain and liver, are excellent sources of highly absorbable phosphorus. Okay, I don't know too many people that do that. I used to eat liver when I was young. Liver once in a while was good for phosphorus in you, but I don't do that anymore. You know what I'm saying? Cow brain contains about 50%. Chicken liver, which is about what we call chicken gizzards. No, chicken liver is different, right? No, I don't know. Which is also contained, used to make French delicacy, pate, containing, a lot of cultures, they know this, and a lot of cultures practice certain things. You know what I'm saying? That they as they travel abroad, different cultures, and amalgamated with other cultures, especially cultures in Africa, adopted a lot of these eating habits. Organ meat is also rich in other essential nutrients such as vitamin A, vitamin B12, iron, and trace minerals. They can make a delicious and nutritious addition to your diet. But again, if you're not into it, you don't have to do it. There's other way to get these nutrients in. There's other ways to get this substance. So the summary is that organ meats are incredibly nutrient dense and contain large amount of phosphorus and other vitamins and minerals. Organ meat. Brain and liver both contains roughly 50% of the recommended daily per 3 ounces serving. Okay. Seafood. Many types of seafood are a good source of phosphorus. Cuttlefish, a mollusk related to squid and octopus, is rich source, supplying 70%. Other fish that are good source of phosphorus include, tells you carp, sardines. I love sardines, man. Clams, scallops, salmon, very good. Catfish, I'm not too much into catfish, but it does. I don't like too much of the catfish because I also watch predator, certain fish, like I don't do tilapia and stuff, and you don't see that on here. But there's certain fish. Mackerel. I have mackerel, but you got to be careful with fish too. You got to eat it that same day. You got to watch and make sure it's fresh. The more fresh it is out of the sea, the better it is for you. Mackerel, after 2 days, throw it out. You're going to get sick. I got sick. So, I'll be careful with that. Summary, you got many different types of seafood that are rich in phosphorus. Cuttlefish provides the most. Okay? Dairy, I'm not too crazy about dairy. Okay? But let's read just a summary. Low-fat dairy products like milk, low-fat milk, cottage cheese, and yogurt are excellent source of phosphorus. Okay? I do a Teva low in sugar, only vanilla, Ativa. I do that. You're getting your phosphorus in like that. Okay. Now, I love sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds. Sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds contain a large amount of phosphorus. Even when I make my salad, my romaine lettuce, my cucumbers in there, I would throw some pumpkin seeds in there too. Sometimes I even throw Brazilian nuts in there, which you're going to go over in a few minutes. But the pumpkin seed is very good. Even in my TV yoga, I throw pumpkin seeds in there and boom, whip that up and eat that. It contains a large amount of phosphorus. 1 ounce of sunflower contains 45% of the recommended daily intake, okay, for phosphorus. What's the summary? Sunflower and pumpkin seeds contain large amount of storage form of phosphorus called phytic acid, which humans can't digest. Sprouting the seeds can help make the phosphorus available for absorption. Okay? That's why when you eat a lot of seeds, you're going to buy it will, create an environment in your gut with the microbiome, and you see when your feces comes out, you can see it. Nuts, most nuts are a good source of phosphorus. Brazilian nuts top the list. I love Brazilian nuts, man. I put, like I said, my steel cut oats. I chop up my Brazilian nuts and put it in there also, with some almond milk and some cinnamon, I sweeten it up with my stevia, which I got to stop doing the stevia, but I'm trying to find a good source of sugar. If anybody has any good ideas, hit me up. I don't know everything, but I'm just learning, but, and I love the Brazilian. Also on some of my salads, I got to tell you, I chop up the Brazilian nuts in little pieces and boom, I put them in my salad. It's a good source of phosphorus. Other nuts containing at least 40%. It's the cashew, almonds. I love that. And pine nuts and pistachios. I haven't had pistachio in a while, but I love pistachios. If you're going to snack, man, a little tiny bowl of pistachio. Sit down while you're watching something, YouTube, whatever you're doing, and munch out on some pistachios, man. You're going to get your phosphorus in. They're also great sources of plant-based proteins, antioxidants, and minerals. Eating them regularly links with a better heart health, So you intake a lot of these seeds, pumpkin seeds, Brazilian nuts, and all that stuff, and you take your walk, man, your heart is going to be its optimum performance. Like most of the phosphorus in nuts is stored as phytic acid, which is not digestible by humans. Okay? Soaking may help, though not all studies agree. Okay? But many nuts, especially Brazilian nuts, are a good source of phosphorus. Whole grains. Many whole grains contain phosphorus, including wheat, oats, and rice. Most phosphorus in whole grains found in the outer layer of the endosperm, known as the alurium, and the inner layer called the germ. Again, soaking it. Pot boiled rice. I'm doing a lot of jasmine brown rice, but I got a lot of wild rice. I just went to Whole Foods and got me a lot of wild rice, and I love wild rice. It's very grainy and very nice. And you have to soak it too a little bit, and to break down the phytic acid and make more of the phosphorus available for absorption. Because remember, I can't absorb it, so it's good to boil, soak your rice for a while and get make that phytic acid absorbable. So whole grain like wheat, oats, and rice contain a lot of phosphorus. So soaking, sprouting, and fermenting the grain may make it more available for absorption. Okay? Amaranth and quinoa. I love quinoa. Amaranth. I just got spelt flour, so I'm going to make my pancake out of spelt flour. Okay? So while amaranth and quinoa are also referred to as grains, they are actually small seeds and are considered Pseudo cereals. Pseudo cereals. 1 cup contains about 52% of recommended daily intake of phosphorus for adults, and the same volume as cooked quinoa contains. Both of these foods also is a good source of fiber, minerals, and proteins. I love it. Matter of fact, you can mix your quinoa, if I'm saying that right, yeah, quinoa, with your rice. Man, you boil rice first. I mean, you soak your rice, and then when you're ready to cook it, you put some quinoa in there, and you cook it with the quinoa. Oh, man. The proteins in there, the nutrients, and the fiber. I'm telling you. So remember, soaking, sprouting, and fermenting can increase the phosphate availability. So ancient grains, these are ancient grains too. The amaranth and the quinoa are highly nutritious and a good source of phosphorus. Okay? Beans and lentils. My mother loved to make a lentil soup. Yeah. But again, not too much of an excess of it. Very moderately. So beans and lentils also contain large amount of phosphorus, and eating them regularly is associated with lower risk of many chronic disease, including cancer. Beans are rich in phosphorus, especially Great Northern chickpeas. I love chickpeas, navy beans, and pinto beans. That's why, the Nation of Islam are huge in their diet of learn to eat to live, not live to eat. The diet that Elijah Muhammad gave the Nation of Islam consists of a lot of navy beans because it's rich in phosphorus, and pinto beans, which contains at least 250 milligrams per cup. Like other plant sources of phosphorus, availability of minerals can be increased by, again, soaking your beans. Soak your beans. I like to soak my black beans. I like to soak all my beans. And then when you're getting ready to cook it, I put my sofrito in it. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of my sea salt or my Himalaya salt in there. Good to go. Your beans. Okay? So again, in order for the availability of the mineral can be increased by soaking, sprouting, and fermenting your beans. So beans and lentils, especially when soaked, sprouted, or fermented, are rich sources of phosphorus. Soy. I don't do soy, but I know some cultures are very big on soy. They can enjoy can be enjoyed in many forms, soy, right? And it's high in phosphorus than others. Mature soybeans contain the most phosphorus, the mature one, while the indiname, the immature form of soy, contains soy. I did not know that indiname is a form of soy. I just learned something, It's a form of soy, okay? Whole soybeans and fermented soy product are a good source of phosphorus. That's why back in the day, when we went out propagating and as Ansar in the university, we went out propagating and selling books. We used to take a cup of miso. We had soy product, a miso, a packet of miso, and an apple, and we used to have that during. That was our meal for lunch. We went out in the morning and around the lunchtime. Instead of going out and eating this unhealthy food, we were giving a pack of miso soup. And all we had to do was get the water, hot water from some establishment. Put the miso cup soup in there, powder in there, mix that sucker up with an apple, and that gave us the nutrients that we needed. So it was a soy product. Good at phosphorus. Foods with added phosphorus. While phosphorus is naturally present in many foods, some processed food also contain large amount of additives. You know what I'm saying? I'm not big on that. Phosphate additives nearly 100% absorbable and can contribute anywhere from 300 to 1,000 milligrams of additional phosphate per day. But again, remember, your additives. You want to just be careful on things. A excessive intake of phosphorus has been linked to bone loss and increased risk of death. So it is important not to consume much more than the recommended intakes. Okay? So you got to measure a cup here You know what I'm saying? A couple of milligrams here. That's important. Measurement is important because then you get able to sustain your body. You don't do things in excess. Okay? Processed food and beverages that often contain added phosphorus include processed meat, cola beverages, baked goods, biscuit, pancake mixes, that have phosphorus in it, fast food, convenient food. Now, processed food and beverages also contain phosphorus additive to enhance quality and increase shelf life. They can contribute large amount of phosphorus to your diet. So you got to be careful. Okay? Just like, again, moderately. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. Now, you have to tweak your diet according to how you want to eat, the more organically. I'm not too much on additives. I'm not too much on meat, but I try to balance that with beans, nuts, whole grain, different diet. And I try to intake that. But again, you have to watch your intake of phosphorus. Okay, so the bottom line is that phosphorus is an essential nutrient required for bone health and many other bodily functions. It can be found in many foods, but it's especially high in animal proteins, dairy products, nuts and seeds, whole grains, and legumes. Most processed foods also contain phosphorus with phosphate additive used to prolong shelf life and enhance taste of texture. Artificial phosphorus and animal sources of phosphorus are the most absorbable, while plant-based sources can be soaked. So if you do any plant-based phosphorus, you want to get phosphorus over your plant-based from the rice, and soak it first. Make it absorbable by soaking it. Soak your beans, soak your rice, soak it so you can get that, limited amount of phosphorus. Remember, while phosphorus is good when consumed in moderation, getting too much from an artificial additive may be bad for your health. People with kidney disease also need to limit their intake. Understanding which food are highest in phosphorus can help you manage your intake as needed. Okay. This is from the healthline.com. Go to healthline.com. So remember, by learning moderately how to eat, because we're starved substance in us. And remember, stars has phosphorus, sulfur, nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen. So our diet consists of enhancing this and keeping our star quality going. And when you tweak your diet, you can be able to control your blood sugar. You'll be able to fight cancer. I've lost a lot of family members to cancer. And I'm like, why? In this day and time, doesn't have to be like that. It's because we have to be knowledgeable of what we intake into our bodies. These are frequencies in the plants. Waveform frequencies in the plants and in animals. Everything deals with frequencies, and we have to know how to deal with it. We have to know how to manage that. Your star quality in you, those substances that we have, we're primordial beings, star substance that have manifest and have taken this avatar body, this body of what? Virus, fungus, and bacteria. Again, watch Kiss the Ground on Netflix. Great, great, great documentary. With a bunch of stuff that we're dropping here, then you have to tweak things, and you have to, the intakes, you know what I'm saying? And knowing what you're eating. And stay away from the bad foods. There are many stuff out there that are not good for you. Oh, what else is here? Let me see. Okay. Look at the acts, sorry. Well. What is it? So, wait a minute. Okay, so what is phosphorus? You may have heard of the word phosphorus or phosphate. You may also be wondering what the term means. Phosphorus is a mineral found in many foods like beer, cheese, beans, and fish. It's also one of the most common substances in the everyday environment in your body. It plays an important role in health for your kidney, bones, muscle, and blood vessels, as well as each cells in your body. Okay? Phosphorus is a form of phosphorates. These are phosphates. You can find phosphate in dish detergent, baking ingredients, and processed cheese. Also, the drug form of phosphorus, and can be taken as a dietary supplement. But then, again, depending on your lifestyle, because I'm not into that. I don't need to take. You could extract phosphorus again by a lot of these foods that we had discussed. Okay. So with that being said, let's see what else we have. So, I think we covered a lot here. Again, we're made of this stardust, and this stardust, right, is made of these elements. We already had looked at it. That's not what I wanted to get. 1 second here. The chemical come up. That's not what I wanted either. Well, we discussed it all. It's all here. Here, this is what I wanted to show. Yeah. Okay. This is what I wanted to show. Let me share the screen one more time. One more time. One more time. One more time. Here it goes. Let me close that out. The elements of life. Again, here we go. See? Hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, and phosphorus. I didn't see nitrogen. Where did we get nitrogen? I know phosphorus, sulfur, list of oxygen, hydrogen, chemical compound of stars. I know I had it. Foods that have nitrogen in it. Well, we can do that. Foods that have nitrogen in it. Let's look at plant foods with nitrogen. What are foods with high nitrogen? Again, a lot of this is again, a lot of the foods do share like nitrogen, hydrogen. We can get a lot of that in there. So animal sources of nitrogen. What else we got here? Okay. This is nitrogen. Animal sources of nitrogen. Nitrogen is important to your health as it is a critical component of protein that form muscles and other tissues, and nucleic acid, including DNA and RNA. Very, very important, especially with viruses, because viruses attach themselves to DNA and RNA. And that's when you read up a lot about, especially with the coronavirus and that virus and how virus work. When you study virology and you see how virus work, it attaches itself. It has a lot to do with the RNA, encoding, and your DNA. So this is advised by the Marine Biology Laboratory. Your body cannot store amino acids for later use. So it's important to consume proteins to your diet daily to remain healthy. This is advised by the University of Arizona Biology Project. What are the animal sources of nitrogen? Meat, especially lean meat, is primarily protein, which is made of amino acids containing nitrogen. This is advised by the U.S. National Library of Medicine. Opt for lean meats for a healthy diet, such as poultry, like turkey and chicken. The more lean it is, take the skin off of the chicken. You got fish, shellfish, lean beets cuts such as tenderloin and top sirloin, and lean pork. Again, you don't have to be a big meat eater. I like fish. I don't do much shellfish, but I'm beginning to, once in a while, I like my little shellfish. Chicken sometimes. I don't do beef as much, you know what I'm saying, and lean pork. I don't do pork. While fattier cuts of meat are also good source of protein, but the high fat content can be detrimental to your health diet. So eggs and low-fat milk are also excellent source of proteins and nitrogen. You know? So nitrogen can also found in a compound called purines, including in the American Academy of Family Physician. High purine animal foods include high-fat meat, including red meat, wild game, including veal, some seafood, sardines. When you find sardines in many of these compositions and substances are found in sardines. I used to love sardines. Scallops. I used to, when I was young, we could eat liver. I don't eat liver. I don't do that. Most people can eat high protein foods without any negative effects. So you have to know your body. Take your food sensitivity test and find out. However, once purines are digested, your body produces an uric acid, which can cause kidney stones. See, I have suffered from that. Kidney stones because a high purine diet. I was doing a lot of meat. You know what I'm saying? A lot of high fat in the meat. Okay, now warning, while nitrogen in your diet is mainly consumed through protein, you may also consume nitrogen in the form of nitrates. For example, many processed food and these contain nitrate, which is used as a preservative. But I don't do that. It's just telling you that those compounds are in there, those substances. But you don't have to eat like that. There's other ways. In most cases, the level of exposure to nitrates from food is not enough to cause negative health effects. Okay? But however, overexposure may cause symptoms such as abdominal cramps and vomiting, decreased blood pressure, elevated heart rate, and headaches. So nitrogen-rich vegetables and fruits. This is where I'm at. I don't do no more tofu or soy-based proteins because of the estrogens. You have to also watch, you have to look into, when you research these substances, you also have to look at, again, food sensitivity and what other side effects it can have. You know what I'm saying? Beans, including lentils, very good. Garbanzo beans. I love garbanzo beans. Chickpeas. Black and pinto and kidney beans. Excellent source. Nitrogen rich. Nuts such as almond, hazelnuts, and walnuts. I love almonds. Seeds, including sesame seeds. I eat that a lot. Peanut butter. Okay? Other vegetable with high nitrate levels. Celery. Parsley. I just made rice with parsley in it. Leeks, fennel. Endive, notes. Food high in nitrate include vegetable may also be contaminated with nitrate-based fertilizers. You got to be careful with the food you eat. Try to go more organic, if anything. Kidney damage. Okay, this is going into the whole kidney stone thing. I'm going to read this a little later for myself. Very important for me. I'm going to leave you here. But again, we're star dust people. We're star people. Come from a star culture. I wanted to bring that up. Cosmology, and it'll probably be part 2 when you bring out the practices. Why, when we eat healthy and we find out food sensitivity and we eat healthy and we understand that we are star substance, so we gotta amplify and eat for the star substance, to enrich our body with this more of the star stuff. You know what I'm saying? And how we're connected, right? All the foods, Earth connected with the galaxies, with the cosmos and the stars. You know what I'm saying? And how we are able to balance ourselves between that star, Nut, and Geb, and the Geo, the Earth, magnetic field. When we learn this and we balance ourselves, we get to live a very, very healthy and profitable life. Currency, we're able to generate currency at a amplified rate. Okay. Anyway, let me get off here. Okay. Peace and blessing to everyone. And I wish you all well. And I'll do part 2 when we talk about star culture and how in Christianity, Islam, Judaism, all of this has been taken from a star culture, civilization that was invested in star culture. You know what I'm saying? And also you look at the foods, right? Ancient food grains, and we look at the foods, and we look at the philosophy and the teaching coming from that Christianity borrowed from it, Islam borrowed from it, Judaism borrowed from it. You know what I'm saying? And then we're going to go into some biblical quotes. You know what I'm saying? And how it's there right in front of you. We just, you know, it's just hidden, you know, from us. You know what I'm saying? There are dietary laws in many of these scriptures, in these books. But, you know, all of this and where it comes from. So we're going to investigate that. We're going to go into that. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, peace and blessing to everyone. Let me see. Can I play my... Let me try this one more time. See if I can play this track I've been working on. I don't know. This is called Star People. Let me see. Let me share this. Share. See if I can get the audio into that. Hope you can hear that. I tried to play it earlier. I believe it's something that